WNBA fans are bracing for impact because it looks like Caitlin Clark might have gotten injured again, and she has missed nearly half the games this season with a quad injury and then with a groin injury. Here's the play where it happened. She's dribbling down, she pushes off, she makes this pass to Kelsey Mitchell on the back door, and then you can see when she's running back to the other end of the court, she's grabbing her right groin. You could see it on her face right after that play, like something went wrong.
After this play, Caitlin Clark's leg injury gets worse because the officials were allowing defenders to hand check and hold Caitlin without repercussions earlier in the quarter. Stephanie White had to waste a timeout. Will anything change if? This is what has to happen. At TD Garden, the Indiana Fever defeated the Connecticut Sun 8,577 to end their road trip. However, the festivities were short-lived. After facing constant contact and painful hits throughout the game, Caitlin Clark aggravated her groin injury with just 40 seconds remaining. The worst part is that the referees allowed it to happen once more. No protection, no whistles. And since officials handled a wrestling contest like it was just difficult defense, the biggest star in the WNBA may suddenly be benched.
Stephanie White, congratulations. Amber Cox, way to go. Kelly Krauskopf, you did it, girl. You really did it. Way to rush Caitlin Clark back from injury time after time after time after time. To the point where she's tearing and crying on the court because she felt something in her groin. You three ladies couldn't manage a kid's lemonade stand.
This was no ordinary injury. It was the tipping point for a league that still disregards its biggest star's safety. After giving Kelsey Mitchell a straightforward assist, Caitlin Clark, who has already missed 9 games this season due to various injuries, clutched her right groin and hobbled off the court in obvious pain. What ought to have been a routine play became a heartbreaking experience. As the league's golden ticket sat broken and exposed, she was on the bench with her head hidden in a towel and tears streaming down her face. What will rock the WNBA to its foundation if that picture doesn't?
This is potentially a disaster for the city of Indianapolis, the Indiana Fever. They're hosting the All-Star game. We just found out Caitlin Clark was going to be in the three-point contest, and this is her right here. You can see her. Let me turn this down. She's grabbing that groin, folks. She's grabbing the groin area. She's going to walk over. She knows she's injured, and it looked bad, folks. She was on the bench, had her head wrapped in a towel. She's crying. She's in pain.
Stephanie White, the head coach of the Fever, calling a timeout was the decisive moment to address the unrestrained physicality directed toward Caitlin Clark, not to plot a play. It was survival, not strategy, as officials watched in silence. Connecticut defenders had transformed the game into a brawl, botting Clark on every play. White's timeout was a last-ditch appeal for discipline, asking the referee to intervene before the league's top player was thoroughly demolished in a game that looked more like street ball than professional basketball.
And whether it was pain or frustration or a combination of both, you could see it weighing on her. Now, she had snapped at a referee earlier. She had held her head down in the midst of her shooting slump. So maybe some of this is just all of that coming to a head, especially knowing that All-Star Weekend is coming up from Indianapolis.
I believe it was clear that tension was rising. After previous games with comparable pandemonium, White said, "Elite athletes will react if authorities don't step in and permit that degree of physicality, particularly if it has been a trend. Throughout the season, these ladies are fiercely competitive, and if their aggressive behavior is allowed to continue, they will defend one another, fight hard, and maintain their ground. Competitors act in this manner when the structure fails."
From 3, so on the road this season, Caitlin Clark is a combined 1 for 32 from three-point range. Very unusual. She's hot. Breon January having to hold her back. We'll take a timeout.
I mean, yo, she went from 0 to 100 real quick. She was upset, dog. I don't know what that ref said. I don't know what happened. But yeah, she was basically just saying that has nothing to do with it. So I don't know what they were discussing, but yeah, she was basically pissed about the entire situation, man.
However, White's timeout was too late this time. Already, the harm was done. Officials permitted Connecticut defenders to hand check, grab, and physically abuse Clark during the game with no repercussions. Each screen turned into a health risk. Every excursion to the rim devolved into a full-body collision that would have prompted loud cries in a different period. The message was obvious and the tone was established early. No matter what, Caitlin Clark was on her own out there.
Is the refs, dog. Like, the refs are terrible. Y'all play a part in these injuries. Y'all play a part in all of these injuries. Y'all don't call nothing. Y'all don't call nothing, bro. Like, what are we talking about? Like, all of y'all should be fired. Just don't do your jobs at all. You guys are trash. Trash, man. You got people getting hurt left and right. Look at this trash. We got people getting elbowed in the face. Body check. Look at this. Sophie Cunningham dropping. She just gets body checked out of bounds. No calls. None.
Please subscribe to our channel and give a like if you're having fun. It wasn't basketball that we saw versus Connecticut. The goal of the methodical approach was to dissect the most gifted player the WNBA has ever seen. Clark's three-point shooting percentage going into the game was a startling drop from her usual high of 28.9% for the season. She now only makes 37.4% of field goals. Out of the 35 players who take at least 10 shots every game, she is ranked 31st.
Somebody who's never gotten injured ever in their career. Here comes all these, oh, we got a new coaching staff, we got a new training staff, we got this person and that person, an expert here and an expert there, saying this, saying that. Next thing you know, these people have managed to turn Caitlin Clark into a player who now gets injured. What the hell did you guys do with Caitlin Clark?
This is not an accident. The player's inability to find her rhythm stems from the fact that she is spending more time recovering from injuries than playing basketball. Since missing 9 regular season games because of a left quad strain, a left groin injury, and now this most recent right groin setback, Clark has only been available for 59.1% of the Fever's games this season. A player under siege is depicted by the numbers. Since her injury return, Clark has shot 33.3% or less from the field in her last 4 games. Because she is playing through discomfort, having reduced mobility, and facing defenders who are aware that the refs won't protect her, she isn't making the threes that made her famous.
That are turning into another injury, and it's an overcompensation injury, and she's trying to play through it because she's got the weight of WNBA on her shoulders. All of this stuff. I think all of these things are factors. I think all of this is a factor for what's happening. I think all of this is a factor of why she's playing. I think she's trying to carry this league on her shoulders. And the refs are letting them beat the crap out of her. That doesn't help things. It doesn't help things when the referees are absolutely letting teams beat the crap out of her. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Other teams are allowing, other teams are beating the crap out of her, and the referees are allowing it.
What everyone has been thinking about for months was finally expressed by ESPN's broadcast team. Referees were disregarding fouls during a recent game, forcing commentators Rebecca Lobo and Ryan Ruocco to count them in real time. A grab occurs, followed by a hole and another grasp. Those are all fouls, I mean. Lobo said every single one of them as he observed Clark being attacked on a single item. The level of hypocrisy is astounding. Although opponents are free to practically smack Clark in the face and leave without repercussions, Clark is called for technical fouls when she displays even the smallest emotion after being fouled. During a game, Marina Maber once pushed Clark to the ground. Instead of ejecting him, the umpires called a typical technical penalty. Colin, Clark's brother, wonderfully captured the annoyance following the most recent injury. This is on the refing. Don't be misled. The family has witnessed their sister and daughter being singled out during game after game, while referees ignore the kind of physical abuse that would put an end to careers in any other sport.
Caitlin Clark's brother, Colin. Colin just said this. Make no mistake, this is on the refereeing. This is Colin Clark, Caitlin Clark's brother. This is Caitlin Clark's brother right here, Colin Clark.
In addition to being immoral, the league's unwillingness to defend Clark has disastrous financial consequences. The WNBA's viewership decreases by 55% when Clark misses games. Her return game against the Liberty earlier this season received 2.2 million people, making it the third most watched WNBA game ever on OFF, despite average audiences dropping from 1.81 million to just 847,000. However, the league now faces a public relations nightmare as Clark may miss the All-Star game. In Indianapolis, which she was meant to highlight as team captain, the 2025 All-Star game, which will take place at Gainbridge Fieldhouse in July 18-19 and feature a three-point competition and skills challenge, was especially created to capitalize on Clark's star power. The WNBA will lose credibility and millions of dollars in income if Clark is unable to play. Because fans wanted to watch Clark perform in her hometown, All-Star Weekend tickets sold out in just 7 hours. Without her, the occasion is reduced to another exhibition game that only die-hard supporters will attend.
Our biggest concern is obviously her health. And I got to tell you, I can't see her playing tomorrow. I cannot imagine her playing in doing the three-point contest or being in the All-Star game now. All right, which is brutal. I was so fired up to see it. But she needs to sit, folks. She needs to sit. This is the power of Caitlin Clark right here. This is the crowd prior to the game. These are all Fever fans going into a road arena in Boston. Look at that.
Clark has previously suffered injuries as a result of referee error, and unless the league acts swiftly, this won't be the last time. She suffered a left quad injury earlier in the season, missing 5 games, following similar physical assault at the hands of the New York Liberty. After defenders were permitted to hack and grab her without a penalty, she suffered a left groin injury that kept her out of action for 5 more games. There is an obvious pattern. Clark is singled out. The referees overlook blatant fouls. She continues to play through her discomfort until her body fails. The league then loses fans and credibility when she misses many games. Both Clark's career and the WNBA's prospects for expansion are being destroyed by this cycle. Paige Buchers, who will play against Clark in the next All-Star game, has blasted the physical abuse she endures and referred to the demands made of Clark as cruel. It's cruel that she is under constant pressure to perform at the same level every night. It's really like expecting everyone to be flawless and to have no bad games or nights.
What's up with ESPN? Like, do they have trolls for their producers? Like, they always kept throwing shade at Caitlin Clark, throwing up, oh, how many, like, yo, this girl's coming off an injury. She's coming off an injury. Like, there's no point of keep showing the graphic. Oh, the last time she made a 3, it was so unnecessary. To me, it's kind of like bullying at this point. They're a joke, bro, because they don't do that with Angel Reese when her shots are not falling. Like, she's below 40%. Do they ever show that? No, they don't do that. They don't do that with any other player, but they do it with Caitlin Clark. I hate that, man. Pam Ward, she's an old hag.
The WNBA's inability to defend Clark is having repercussions across the league. Due to her forced playing through injuries and ongoing physical abuse, her shooting percentages have drastically decreased. This season, her three-point shooting has fallen to 28.9%, far below her career average. However, the true cost is not quantifiable. It is the message being conveyed to fans. young athletes, and possible financiers. A league shows a basic lack of professionalism and player safety standards when it permits its brightest star to suffer injuries due to careless officiating, which will deter talent and spectators for years to come. Months of referee ineptitude culminated in Clark's injury against Connecticut. She had already endured games in which she was called for fouling on almost every possession. The officiating has come under fire from the broadcast teams, with several commentators pointing out missed fouls in real time. There are more videos on the screen if you liked and subscribed.